Look at what my neighbors have. I am trespassing doing this, but look at this. You know me and old cars. This is like a Model T or something. Who has that? It's the coolest thing I ever saw. I gotta get out of here. Hi guys, it's PJ, and I wanted to talk to you about something real quick. Not real quick. I wanted to talk to you about something. So, anyway, I was asked recently if I'm a witch, what's my God? And I'm not a pagan, you know. I know I do practice some pagan-ish rituals. And I appreciate all pagans. Like, I think that it's very earthbound. Same with voodoo. It's like a mundane religion. It came from the earth, from nature. I love that so much because I believe the power in this earth of ours is it's just so huge, and it needs to be tapped for your own benefit. Same with the power of the universe. But when you ask me about specifically like God, like what does God look like to you as a witch? I don't think it's like as a witch that matters, because I do believe in a higher power. I guess my version of God isn't somebody who's sitting on some chair in the clouds, who thinks about me specifically every day. I think that when I think of my higher power, I tap into him, her, I hate to say him. I just think I'll bet you anything, there's no gender there. So for me, it doesn't have to do with the Bible. It doesn't have to do with being Jewish or being grown up Jewish. It doesn't have to do with any of that. It's like a higher power that you can tap into and you can use to like cleanse yourself of things, or to open up to the positivity that it brings, like The Secret, or and use it in that aspect. I think there's a lot of things that we don't know about how to deal, but I think that's my version of God. My version of God isn't somebody, because here's why. Because if I look at him, as an individual, okay, as not an it or a the, or, I am who I am, makes the most sense to me, because it is what it is. Like, we try to put gender on it, a face on it. I don't know that you can do that. I feel more like it is unaware of me unless I am tapping into it. Because if I believe that God was this almighty presence in everyone's life, and then and that everybody's life has meaning and a purpose, then you have to ask yourself, what about lives that are born tortured and in nothing but horrible pain, and there is no good reason for that to be? The babe that's ripped from its mother and for whatever reason, murdered or whatever, dies alone in a desert. What's the purpose of that? Nobody knew about it. Do you see what I mean? Like, you can take that thought process and say, yeah, but who wants that as a God? Who wants a God that would do that? But I don't believe that's how a God works, or faith works. I think it's more that there is this being. And when you see, I guess what it comes down to is, I don't really believe in religions and man-made text and things like that. I more believe in what I feel, the spirituality I feel, carry, harness, has witnessed to. And that, for me, has always come from that higher power who isn't watching me drive down the road, but all the things that people do, I think you tap into that. And I think we feel that. I think that's what we feel. I think that's what we're all feeling, that you're being heard. I think you are heard at that point. I think you're heard. I think you can be tended to. I think you can be healed. You can be raised up. All those things I believe in. I absolutely. And if it takes you saying the name Jesus Christ to do that, or if it takes you saying Moses or David or Allah, it doesn't matter, because I believe that energy is all the same thing. And I don't believe it's going to beat us up for our sins. I don't believe that. I just don't buy all that. What I buy is it there? Absolutely. And that I know. You know, you're born with instincts and this and that, right? The things you're born with. And you know, science has done some amazing stuff. So they actually can map the part of your brain that is utilized when you do things. You know, if you are typing, it can say that's the part of your brain, wherever it is, that's the part of your brain that you use to type, or that's the part of your brain you use to create, or this. And there's only one part of your brain that there is no other thing you use it for other than to meditate or to pray, because it'll light up on a screen. So I don't believe you have parts of your brain for things that you don't need, because they will eventually die out if you don't need it. You know, we didn't need fur all over our bodies anymore, so we're no longer these hugely furry creatures. We have downy fur now all over our bodies. So we used to be furry creatures to keep the elements out and whatnot. So if you look through time, why would there be that part of your brain that needs to connect to that other thing if it didn't exist? That would eventually die away. That would be gone. And these things are like inherently known. They're not known necessarily because somebody tells you. I think you have a spiritual sense very young. I think you get that side of yourself very young. So at any rate, that's what God means to me. God is a huge amount of energy and power, a higher power than what I could ever imagine, what my little human brain could comprehend, that I tap into, that I tap into to bring out love and positivity and connect to my spiritual or higher self. And that's what God is to this witch. What's God to you? Put it below. Tell me what God means to you. Do you believe in like a Christian God? Do you believe in, do you have a reason to? Is there witness to something that happened to you personal in your life? See, that's the other thing. I've personally had things happen in my life, and I'm sure a lot of you have, that I, even though, you know, nobody obviously popped out of the clouds and said, I'm the one doing this, I felt very much like I was in tune with that higher power. And that was how I was getting to do what I was doing, or see what I was seeing, or feel what I was feeling. So, yeah, I feel like I have my own proof. And what's funny about faith is you really don't need anybody else to prove it out to you. And nobody can really tell you it's not there. It's kind of cool. It's like you don't need the proof. You got the proof in your soul somewhere. So, I think there is a God. You can call him God, you can call him dog, you can call him toe, you can call him apple, you can call him Allah or Christ or David or Buddha or whatever you want to call him. You can call him. But I don't know that it's a him. I think it's I am what I am.